Arkansas Style on KARK.
Welcome back to Arkansas Style. They may be common, but varicose veins are more than just a cosmetic concern. They can be a window into what's happening with your circulation and overall vein health. Here to help us understand is UAMS cardiologist Dr. Jean Way. Dr. Way, great to see you.
Great to see you, Nicole. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here in this beautiful studio. Thank you.
Of course.
Varicose veins are very common. They exist in 20% of the total adult population and 50% of the people over the age of 50. And more in women, much more in women than men, partly hormonal, partly perhaps other factors. Well, what are they? So they are veins that are bulged because they're distended and there's fluid in them, and also because we have valves in our veins, okay? And they help to keep the fluid from going back down because we have gravity always trying to pull all the fluid in us down to the lowest platform, which is the floor. So when these veins when the wall of the vein gets stretched, the valves are going to become a little bit leaky, and then they get a little more leaky, and so that's how we end up with some tortuous veins, and we end up with some bulging veins because the fluid keeps going down. So what are we going to do about it? Okay, well, one thing to do is exercise, okay? When you move your muscles, it helps to move the blood back up, and it works really well, really does. Also because the veins that are deep, not only the superficial veins, which is what we see as varicose veins, but the deep ones, they need to have the muscle squeeze on them so that the blood doesn't stay. Because if your blood stays in a vein for a long time, you tend to form clots, and we don't want any of that. So we have to move. What else can we do? Well, if you're not standing, so if you are standing, try to reduce the duration of your standing. Or, walk around or just move your ankles. Move something. Don't stand still for too long, because that's when the blood just pools. What else can you do? Wear compression stockings. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it's almost any stockings will give you a little bit of pressure, and it'll help because it just helps to keep just a little bit of gentle support up the leg so that you can keep going. We said exercise. We talked about compression. What else can we do? We want to keep the weight down if we can, because if there's too much weight, it's going to just keep all the blood pushed down, and that makes it even harder. Now, of course, when women are pregnant, they can't help it, but afterwards they can try to slim down a little bit to the best that they can.
All right, so helpful to kind of set the table of what they are and how to help treat them.
Yes.
And what I'm curious about, though, is how they can be indicative of other health issues going on.
Yes.
What does this mean?
Okay, so for example, if you have too much fluid in your vascular system, your arteries and your veins hold quite a bit of fluid, but if you're having trouble either pumping the blood through the heart and the arteries and the veins and getting them back up to the heart, they're going to pool. You're going to get pooling. So that's going to make it indicate that your cardiovascular system is not as competent as you want it to be. Potential causes could be that your cardiac valves might not be all able to close. Could be that the arteries are not able to continue to pump the blood forward. So all those things can result in blood pooling in your veins. One of the conditions I'm talking about, in addition to having valvular problems, another condition which is very common, it's the most common heart disease, okay, is heart failure, congestive heart failure. Now, a long time ago, when that term was coined, people didn't realize that they shouldn't have called it heart failure, because all of us think right away, I'm going to die. But it's not. It's the failure to maintain cardiac output in a situation where you need to have more blood going forward. That's what it means.
So varicose veins could be an indicator of some cardiac issues
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
Now my question is if I get laser therapy, if I zap
Yes.
those veins,
Yes.
okay, and get rid of them
Yes.
and the blood and the
Yes.
pooling and all of
Yes.
that, does that help increase the productivity of my heart?
Okay, now that's a great question, and I wish I could say definitely, but might not. However, it's not a bad idea in the sense that, firstly, it'll look better, okay? But secondly, it might not really help. I mean, we have to think about it, and the reason is because now you're going to have fewer tributaries, if you will, on the surface. You'll still have the blood vessels deep in your leg, but you'll have fewer options for the blood to come back up. So eventually they'll make dilate new veins, right? So this is what happens. So if you get your veins lasered or sclerosed, there's all kinds of new techniques now. You don't even have to go in, you don't have to have anesthesia, everything. It's so cool. They have this thing called super glue, okay, for the veins. And it's just a little teeny needle they put in there. They put a little bit of super glue. And now your vein has closed. And now you're all set. Okay.
But folks at home, don't try that at home, okay?
Yeah, right, right.
Shoot.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Dr. Way, I never realized, the kinds of conversations we could have around
Yeah.
varicose veins, but
Yes.
there's a lot to cover there.
Yes.
And I appreciate you giving us just a little bit of insight.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you
Yeah,
so much.
As always.
Yes.
As always, Dr. Way will join us again next week to answer more of our medical questions and concerns. So if you or a friend have anything you're curious about, just send us a message on social media and we'll make sure to cover it in one of our upcoming segments. Now, when conflict hits, how do you reconnect? Well, Charlie Simpson joins us next with a live demonstration of breaking down barriers to create meaningful conversation. We'll be right back. You're watching Arkansas Style.